This is Hank, and we're going back on the block with an incredible musician and artist, Moby. Everybody knows his music, but most people don't know he's a native New Yorker, born right here in Harlem. We caught up with Moby at his restaurant and home away from home, Teeny, in the Lower East Side, and we talked about life, music, and being a New Yorker. Moby, a great guy. You're gonna love it. You mentioned you lived on 168th Street up in Harlem. That's a cool thing that a lot of people probably don't know. Born in Harlem. I read somewhere when you were growing up in Harlem, you had some lab rats, a pet dog, and
yeah. When I was growing up, my father was a chemistry teacher at Columbia, and so he rescued some lab rats. And then my mother had a dog and a cat. So yeah, I grew up with a strange menagerie of animals.
You're a downtown kind of guy. I read when you moved back to New York, you were one zip code over.
I never lived north of 14th Street. And there are nice things above 14th Street. I'm provincial, and I like to live where my friends live. And the nice thing about also living down here and having Teeny down here does have a almost sort of medieval city quality. You know, like you walk to get your bread, you walk to the deli, you walk to your friend's house, you walk everywhere.
You opened Teeny and then you went out on tour, and you've been out on tour a lot. When you come back, what's the first thing you try to do when you come back to New York?
Well, the first thing I do is I go home and make sure that, like, you know, a family of gypsies hasn't settled in my apartment. And then I pretty much always come here. New Yorkers, for the most part, we don't really cook and eat at home. We eat and socialize in restaurants and in bars. So Teeny is kind of like, it almost feels like it's an extension of my home.
I saw an interview with you on MTV in Cribs, and one thing that stuck out was you said if you could save one thing in your apartment, it would have been your Matt Groening Homer Simpson drawing. What's your connection to Homer Simpson? You really relate to him.
The Simpsons really is unarguably the funniest, most irreverent, most remarkable show that's ever been on television.
You mentioned your art. I've looked at it, and it's very whimsical. It has a wonderful light feeling to it, and yet that sometimes doesn't come out in your music. Your music, many other times, is much more introspective.
Music can be pretty. I've always loved more earnest, emotional music. I've always loved really dumb, frivolous cartoons. So hopefully there's room for the two to peacefully coexist.
You write songs. Is there any one in particular that New York has influenced?
All the records I've made have been made here in New York. And to some extent, all of it has been influenced by living in New York City. If I had to pick one piece of music that was very inspired or influenced by living in New York, there's a song called The Rain Falls and the Sky Shudders. It's just like a very quiet instrumental B-side that I put out. It's available on a collection called Moby songs, and that would be the one that sort of was most directly influenced by living in New York.
You do a lot of things at night.
I become less of a night owl. I used to go to sleep at 7 o'clock in the morning, so it's kind of like a vampire. But now I've got on a more daytime schedule. And I still do most of my work at night, but a little more reasonable than going to sleep at 7 o'clock in the morning.
I read where you said that the city's quiet, and you kind of just get a little bit more inspiration.
It is true. I mean, the city, it is the city that never sleeps, but it does rest late at night. You know, and there's just that sense of calm at like 3 or 4 or 5 in the morning on a Tuesday, when the city's just so slow and quiet and peaceful. And it's like a really nice time to work because the phone doesn't ring and there are no distractions.
In 2 years, you were on over 50 different magazine covers in the music business around the world. It's incredible.
What can I say?
I've never, did any one of them strike you a lot? I mean, this was my favorite one.
Yeah, that one's pretty fun.
This was in Japanese.
Well, this one has the best story.
This was cool too.
Well, the story behind this is it looks like a nice, simple, like something done in a studio. It was actually done in a hotel in San Francisco. There's a ring flash behind me that was so hot that when the shoot was done, I had some really bad burns on my back.
And this one, I love that interview you did with David Bowie.
Yeah, David Bowie. Yeah, David and Amon come in here sometimes.
The questions are terrific.
He's my favorite musician of all time.
Yeah. Well, you're my favorite musician of all time. I'm not kidding. I really appreciate it.